Welcome to West Virginia Uncommonplace. Today I have with me Johnna Devereaux. She is a clinical pet nutritionist and an owner of a very awesome business in the great state of Rhode Island. Johnna, please tell them about yourself.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am a clinical pet nutritionist. I'm the proud mom of two rescue American pit bulls, or Staffordshire Terriers, but otherwise known as pit bulls. I'm the owner of FetchRI, and I'm the director of nutrition and wellness for Bow Wow Labs. So my life is all things dogs.
Okay. So look, this right here, Fetch RI. Please tell my audience about this. Now, mind you, this audience is very vast. There are people from everywhere. So, when you have a specialty like this, and this is one thing that I always like to reiterate to people that they never think about. Someone would travel all the way to you, which you understand that. Somebody
I
might
do.
come from where I am in West Virginia to come to you for something. So please tell them about Fetch RI.
Yeah, so FetchRI is it's just the best place ever. I call it Disneyland for dogs and cats. So it is a holistic pet boutique and supply store. I'm also an herbalist besides being a clinical pet nutritionist. So everything that's in the store has gone through a very specific criteria. That's met specific criteria to make certain that it's only going to help your animals, keep them healthy, keep them safe, keep them happy, and doing so in a way that is more in line with how their bodies are designed. Um, and it's just a fun place to be.
Okay, so what made you want to start Fetch RI? Because this is like the way that you're explaining this and the way that they can go over to your website, which I'll get you to plug real quick.
Right. It's fetchri.com.
And they can find out all the stuff about your boutique and everything else that you're offering there. What made you want to start this?
So my rescue boy, Diego, who actually just turned 10 on Sunday, when I first rescued him, he was actually 8 weeks old. So I got him as a puppy from a shelter. I actually met him when he was 3 days old because
Oh
I
wow.
had been volunteering at the animal shelter. So he's like my heart dog. But I got to take him home at 8 weeks old, even though I had seen him grow while I was working at the shelter. And so, he was the first dog that was my own and wasn't like part of my parents, when I lived at home. And so I thought I was doing everything right and checking all the boxes and feeding the right food and giving the right treats and, going to the vet and getting the right vaccinations. And, when you follow the rules, you expect a certain outcome. And so I expected that he was going to be really healthy. And unfortunately, the opposite was true. And Diego was having a lot of medical issues, really hard times with rashes and ear infections. In his first year of life, he was at the vets probably every month, which meant more medications. And so he is the reason why I started Fetch RI, because I realized, and he's also the reason why I became a clinical pet nutritionist as well. He kind of is the reason that the trajectory of my life completely changed in the best way possible. But I really wanted to start seeing what I could do for him. And I wasn't finding the answers at the big box stores. So I started navigating this path of canine health and what I could do and how I could get products that met certain criteria. And, I figured if I was looking for these types of things, that other pet parents were also looking for the same type of products and having the same type of issues. So that's really how FetchRI started, because I couldn't find what I wanted for my dog. So I figured I might as well just open my own store and bring it all in. So that's how FetchRI started.
And that's a real interesting story. And I'm glad that you did this because you were helping owners around the world, around the US,
Yeah.
everywhere. So explain to us about Bow Wow Labs.
So Bow Wow Labs is this amazing, innovative company that I am blessed to be a part in. I joined the team almost 2 years ago now, and they came out with this product called the Bully Buddy. It is the most innovative, amazing safety device, because they're really concerned about the safety, well-being, health of our pets. And so one of a dog's favorite long-term chews, which there's numerous benefits why we should be giving our dogs long-term chews, but one of them is a bully stick. And so the great thing about a bully stick is that it's all natural, it's high in protein, it's low in fat. It meets all of the requirements. I shouldn't say requirements. It meets all of their instinctual needs for chewing. But when they chew down to that last 1 inch and they can no longer hold it in their paws, it now becomes a potential for a choking hazard. Or if they do swallow it, it becomes a potential for an intestinal obstruction, which can, be fatal in some instances if you don't get to the vet and have surgery. So Bow Wow Labs came up with the Bully Buddy, which is essentially a bully stick safety device. So you insert the bully stick inside the center of this device and you screw it down. And once you've screwed it in properly, you can't pull the bully stick out, your dog can't pull it out, so they can chew and navigate the bully stick safely, get all of the benefits of a long-term chew, but not have any of the hazards.
Okay. Now, I'd like to go over to COVID-19 for a second.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, like, because you deal with pets, you deal with the nutrition and stuff. How can people do the right thing by their pets right now during COVID-19, nutritional wise, for say like a dog or a cat? Like, because people are inside and they're feeding table scraps and stuff like that. So my concern is where do we need? Because when you're working and stuff, your dog's going to just eat the food or whatever's out there. You have more time for your pets now.
Right. Which is right. That's one of the silver linings of COVID, I think, is that more people are having the ability to bond and spend time with their pets. You raise a really good question when it comes to nutrition. I think another silver lining of being around our pets is we're, paying closer attention to how their coat and fur looks, how their teeth look, how their energy levels are throughout the day. If we want to get up and go for a walk, we want to bring our pup with us. And if we never had that opportunity before, we might not have realized that they get tired faster. So you start thinking about what is the foundation of health and wellness? And the answer is always going to be food and nutrition. So, a lot of people, depending on your financial ability, they may not be able to feed a better type of food. They may have to feed a kibble that they, can buy at a local store. So what you can do is you can try to make the food you give them a little bit better. You can increase the nutrition. So, you say table scraps. I always laugh when people say, I don't give my dog any human food. That's not necessarily a good thing, right? Like, yes, we want to give them fresh, whole food. We just want to make it be the appropriate food. So no, we don't want to give them the fat off of our steak. But if we have some, steamed green beans, that's going to be something that's going to be bringing lots of nutritional value to your dog's food bowl. So it's all relative, right? It depends what we're talking about. If you at Thanksgiving time, or even now, right? When cranberries were abundant and people were making cranberry sauces, it's a really good time to add cranberries, not the ones with the sugar, right? The raw cranberries, and puree them up and add them to our dog's bowl for antioxidants. Going into spring and summer, you get lots of berries that you can puree up and add to their food bowl. You can do cucumbers. They're just different things. You can do fresh meat. If you're making chicken breast and you're grilling it out because it's going to be warm outside, then grill a chicken breast, cut some off. Don't use any butter or salt or pepper on it, of course. Chop it up and add it to their food bowl. So there are some things you can do in a very easy way that is going to increase the nutritional value of the food that you're giving your dog.
Okay, that right there, that's really interesting, and I like that because you gave me the audience, everyone, a scope on how to take care of our animals. Now let's go to another topic real fast. I hate that I'm jumping through different topics.
No, it's totally good.
This one is one that's really near and dear to my father-in-law, Doug. He has a dog. His name is Bear, and people are going back to work now, so pet anxiety.
Yeah, it's real.
It's real, but how do you determine it, and how do you?
Well, so I think one of the first things that we need to understand is that with COVID, we had this amazing opportunity, because I like to see silver linings in everything. We had this amazing opportunity to be at home and for things to slow down and to spend more time with our animals, the bonding that happened with our animals. But now that life is shifting backward and we are finding, ourselves having to go back to work, we do have to understand that the dog's routine, and they are creatures of habit, was changed when we came home and they had to adapt. And now we're going to go back and they're going to have to adapt again. So there is going to be a period of time where there's going to be some discomfort in the dogs, anxiety, whatever it might be, because their routine is changed up. So, what I try to tell people is, most people don't get a phone call, you're coming into the office tomorrow. They're given a week or 2 weeks notice of, we're going to be trying to get you back in by such and such a date. when you have that type of advanced notice, start working with your dog right then, immediately. And when I say this, it's going to be go outside, leave your dog in the house, take your keys like you normally do, and go out for 5 or 10 minutes. Don't make a big deal about it. Come back in, and then you're going to gradually work on that and increase the time that you're away so that your dog is gradually becoming used to you being away from them for longer durations of time. Now, of course, there are going to be some dogs that's just not going to be enough. You might need to do something more. There are some calming herbs that are out there that can be very helpful in helping them decompress a little bit and reduce anxiety. For really hard cases, and I say really hard cases, where your dog might do danger to themselves because of an increased anxiety, it might be something that it's extremely beneficial for you to have a conversation with your veterinarian to see if there's maybe a medication that might be introduced that might help. But as far as I'm concerned, if you have 2 weeks, start small and gradually grow on it. And I don't mean go out your front door and let your dog see you out the window or have a conversation with your neighbor where they can hear you. You need to remove yourself so that they cannot see you, they cannot hear you, right? So that they have that full feeling of being alone. And then, the other thing which kind of tears at my heartstrings, because we always want to love on our dogs, don't spend every second that you're home with your dog. They have to understand that they can exist fine without your hands on them, without you giving them constant attention. If that means that you have to give them a puzzle toy, you can give them a treat dispensing toy that makes them engage on their own, and basically they become self-sufficient at play. That's just another way, another tool that you can use so that when you do end up going back to work, if they are associating fun with this puzzle toy or this treat dispensing toy, when you're next to them, when you leave the house, it's still going to be fun. And so it will help to kind of break up the anxiety.
Okay, and in doing that, that's kind of like keeping them busy inside the house while you're working also. So
Yeah.
essentially just weaning them off your presence, and then slowly they'll get used to you not being there a little bit if you have to go back to work. Now let's flip the whole circle real fast.
Okay.
What if,
Okay.
because a lot of people now, our workplace has been put inside the home now. We're not going back for a long time, or
Right.
until we're essentially needed back in the office or whatever
Right.
you do for a living. So you helped us on getting them weaned off of you, but what do you do about actually keeping them busy when you're at home working? Because I work from a computer when I'm at home.
Yeah.
And if I'm dog sitting, Doug's dog jumps up on me. He wants a lot of attention. He doesn't give me any time to live my
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
except in the bathroom. So
Well, you're lucky because most dogs don't even give you that time. So there you go. I think what's really important is what I said before, that dogs really like routines. So, if you have a structured work day where you're at your computer, from 9 to 5 or 9 to 12 or whatever it might be, you can actually work around that. So you could take your dog for a walk before you go, before you start working, I should say. Take them outside, give them some energy expenditure, give them some exercise so that they come in and they're tired. If you need to, you can give them a long-term chew, which is going to be every dog's favorite remedy, like a bully stick or something that's going to give them between 40 to 45 minutes of chew time. Chewing also creates mental stimulation, and mental stimulation tires a dog faster than physical exercise. So you can actually tire the brain, you can tire them by giving them a long-term chew, which will make them sleep. Of course, if you have a random Zoom meeting, long-term chews are really helpful.
essential. They're essential.
They
Yes.
are. It is an essential. It definitely is essential. And potentially, maybe you just start to create a new schedule with your dog where you exercise them, give them a treat dispensing ball or a bully stick and a bully buddy to keep them safe. And then if they're in a crate, you can give them some crate time to take a nap, or just give them nap time. There's a few different things that you can do. You just have to really kind of give yourself some perspective and think outside the box and just figure out what kind of routine do you want your dog to have, and then just create structure, because dogs do really well with routine and structure.
Okay. Now that right there, like, you just helped me. And next time I go dog sit, I'll know what to do, and then I can tell my lady Stacy to do the same because she works heavier on a computer. Okay, now vegetables. and
Okay.
dogs.
Yes.
What can I give this dog Bear if I want to give him some vegetables? Can you name a few vegetables that I can give him? Because I eat asparagus and I'm kind of leery about giving him asparagus just because like I like it and I don't always put Parmesan or other things on it, but sometimes I just eat it normally flat steamed or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I try to give it to him, he kind of rejects it. He'll slap it away.
Well, to answer that question, I'm going to just tell you dogs really don't have much nutritional need at all for carbohydrates.
Okay.
So if you're going to be giving them vegetables, I always recommend that you give low starch vegetables. So I mentioned green beans, cucumbers, let's see, Brussels sprouts. Dogs crazy over Brussels sprouts. My dogs also happen to like cherry tomatoes for whatever
Huh.
reason I don't quite understand, but they love them. What's important is canines don't have the amylase enzyme, which is the digestive enzyme that breaks down carbohydrates in their mouth. So if you want to just fill their belly, you can give them the vegetables as is. If you want them to get some nutritional value, you actually have to break down the cell walls of the vegetables or the fruit for that matter. So you would do that either by pureeing it, by steaming it, or lightly cooking it. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve, right? I say that if you have a dog on a diet and the dog is acting hungry all the time, just give him some green beans. If you can steam them, great. If you can't, you're just looking to really fill up his stomach, right? So you could do it celery. Dogs can have celery. I really love those low starch vegetables because they just help in a variety of ways. They don't interfere with blood sugar. They don't have, too much starch, which their body just doesn't need whatsoever. I mean, ours don't either, I guess.
True, true, true. So if you're heading to Rhode Island and you stumble upon Fetch, what is the first thing you're going to see at the front door?
Lots of pictures of dogs. So when we first opened the store 7 years ago, I was slow to get on social media. So what I did was I actually got a little Polaroid camera and I would take Polaroid pictures of all the dogs that came in the store and hang them on our wall. So we have a wall of dogs that's about 1,000 deep, as well as
Whoa.
a bunch of awards. Yeah, as well as like a bunch of awards that we've won over the years. Since that time, we actually, have a really good Facebook and Instagram game. And now we're on TikTok too. So we now are taking photos and sharing them online with all of our followers. I'm a really big advocate in sharing the happy. I call it my sharing the happy campaign. There's so much negativity going on in the world that all the dogs that come into our stores, and some days we have almost 40 dogs that come in.
Oh my lord.
I take their pictures and I post every single one of their photos and all of their names. And I just want people to smile. So when you first walk into Fetch, what I really want from anyone that walks through that door is just a big smile to come across their face. And I think we're pretty good at achieving that.
All right, and you just spoke about you being across social media. Would you
Yeah.
mind telling everyone where they can meet you at on social media?
Yeah, so there's going to be two places. So you can go to FetchR. So with Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, it's going to be at FetchRI, and of course, FetchRI.com. And then for Bow Wow Labs, which is where you're really going to get a lot of my blogs and articles about canine nutrition and health and different things that you can do to help your dogs, go to bowwowlabs.com. So it's BOWWOWLABS.com. And then you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Bow Wow Labs.
All right. Now, how do you keep your passion for animals? Because and the reason I ask this is one thing. You handle a lot of animals, and sometimes you might have a rowdy animal, or you can see the emotion of an animal just like you can see it in a human. How do you keep that passion going and stay real strong with it every single day?
It's easy, to be honest with you. Pets are so innocent. They're energy beings that just want to share joy. And you may have a rambunctious dog or a rambunctious cat or a ferocious one at sometimes, and you just have to you just understand that it's not their fault. They're such beautiful beings, and if you can be in the present moment, which is something that we as humans have such a hard time doing, but if you can be in the present moment and be with that animal, who also, by the way, is always in the present moment, you really can't be anything but blissful and happy. There is such, and I'm going to tell you a little story. This morning when I woke up this morning, because I have my two dogs, Diego and
Okay.
Lola, So I woke up this morning and it was like the sun was out and it was just a good day, right? To just wake up and have my dogs on the bed. And I got up and I started giving them like a little massage. And I thought to myself, how lucky am I that I get to have this type of relationship with another species? Like, it's just mind blowing that we have other species that are willing to trust us and to love us and to give us such loyalty that I don't know how I can't stay passionate. It's just a beautiful thing.
And it's nice because it's kind of like over time you build a codependency on each other, correct?
Well, codependency, I don't think is a good word, but you come to um you appreciate each other and you rely on each other for different things. Um but it's all good, right?
Yes.
It's all good.
Okay. Okay. On that one. Now, I have to get it to a segment in the show that I do with everyone.
Okay.
Now, there was a guy in New York. He can solve an Rubik's cube in 40 seconds. There's a
Wow.
lady. There's a lady all the way in Georgia. She goes out and buys artwork from Goodwills and different places, or even like the artwork behind you, and she'll put rhinestones on it and resell it.
Okay.
So now my question to you is, what is a hidden talent or a secret that no one knows about you?
That no one knows. Well, I'm not going to tell you because then lots of people will know. Okay, so I don't talk about this much, but the people that come into my store and that interact with me and have their dogs or cats come in and interact with me, they tell me that I have a gift and that I am a pet whisperer, that I can very easily, just from the animals walking through the door, I can very quickly assess what's going on with them and what the animals need. And that I have, in fact, I was watching my neighbor's rabbit the other day and she told me the rabbit's crazy. And I went over to see the rabbit and I had the rabbit on its back, belly up, letting me rub the belly in under 30 seconds. And they're like, oh, is she a witch? Like, how did she do that? So I guess I have an ability to make animals feel comfortable and calm. And so that to me is a gift,
That is, and
talent, I guess.
yeah, Pet Whisperer. And once again, I want to thank you for coming on West Virginia Uncommon Place.
Thank you for having
Um,
me.
Once again, can I get you to plug everywhere that anyone can find you?
Yeah, of course. So bowwowlabs.com, on Instagram and Facebook at bowwowlabs. And then, of course, if you want to see my two doggies, Diego and Lola, you can check them out at fetchri.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at fetchri.
All right. Once again, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.